What's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto.
And I'm Keith Malachewski.
And I'm Kevin Christian.
And we are the War Room. Welcome to War Room Philly. It's gonna be another just little not 4 for. We can go 4 for 4 tonight. Five,
Ish.
5 even. I guess we're not gonna. We'll do 4 for 4 if Nova is the fourth tonight, and
There you go.
not the team that is cited just above Kevin's head over there as the Flyers are. We had our Flyers talk for the season. That'll be all. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Yeah, we got a little bit of everything. How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good now that I'm here.
Oh my god, I just saw Kev. I think it was you that took a sip.
It's a beautiful shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
I just saw you that took a sip of the water, and I just realized that I have none. So one more reason to be grumpy. Yes, Keith. Thank you though.
I'll make sure to tell anybody to get off your lawn. Anybody anywhere near you.
No, I just really want to drink, and that's very unfortunate. I might let you guys talk for at one moment during the show, like when we do lineups or something. I might just bounce.
Grab water.
But spoiler alert, we're gonna be doing some Phillies lineups today because by the way, they've made some signings since the last time we've been on air. So we got some Phillies talk. We took the week off last week to watch Villanova. Well, guess what? They're still playing. So we'll be talking some Nova, who we're going to be playing Saturday. Very excited for that. Nova versus Kansas. It's going to be a tough one. None of these games have been easy, and it's going to be a tough one. Yeah, we got a little bit of everything tonight. Sixers action. Yeah, thank you, Keith, again for pointing out the shirt. I am in love with anything with this logo on it. It's worth getting down to the Wells Fargo Center just to go to the store right now because you can't find this merchandise anywhere else. So I was really happy to get down to the game, even though they lost to the Toronto Raptors. The game I went in typical Philadelphia Sixers action. Pardon me. We'll get into it. The Phillies bullpen still might be blowing leads too, but we're talking about the Sixers there. Yeah, that was that game. What up, Joe? See you there too. Been a long time. I've been able to give my undivided attention to you guys. So thanks, Joe. And hopefully, Joe, if you can't catch us live, you can catch us either on YouTube or now we've been doing Spotify for the shows. So I hope you could catch us there, especially the one that was titled Clearwater from last week. I think we did a pretty good amount of hockey talk in like the last 2 weeks, I would say. A lot of hockey talk even. So Joe, especially if I can't remember. I don't think you were here the last 2 weeks, and that's probably why you're apologizing, which by the way, that's okay. Hopefully you got to at least enjoy that and agree and or disagree with our takes on all of that and hashtag plug.
But definitely check out that YouTube.
Yeah. Again, YouTube or Spotify, wherever you want. Flyers a joke. They don't deserve. Yeah, we're not. Yes, this was
taking that off, Joe.
This was again. They're now the Flyers. I'll do donkey. No more Flyers. So both of you guys sipping drinks, just rubbing it in. As I'm sitting in posture that I really shouldn't be sitting in post accident. By the way, was in a car accident recently, but I'm okay. It's all good, chat. We're here. But yeah. I've been there, but I just see Joe ranting about the Flyers.
We're not talking about the Flyers, but I want to talk about
Joe, we're taking that off. Come on, let it go.
Yeah. It's okay though. If he needs to vent in chat, that's okay. We're here. We'll listen. We're gonna be talking about a little bit of everything. But let's kick it off and let's pay homage to what I can confidently say is the second best safety to ever wear midnight green. At least, actually, I think that's probably the best way to put it, to wear midnight green, because maybe there have been some better ones before Malcolm Jenkins, but as far as my eyes have seen, Brian Dawkins, obvious top of that ladder. My question is, how far is Malcolm Jenkins from Brian Dawkins? And I like, is this borderline disrespectful to even bring this up? Is this, because here's why I say it. On the field, Brian Dawkins was a no doubt about it. We were making a case Hall of Famer. I don't think Malcolm Jenkins is a Hall of Famer, but and Joe brings it up, number retired. I was thinking about it in ways of who does get their number retired on this team. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. After that, I don't know that, like, it'd be weird to see someone wear the number 9, right? But does Nick Foles deserve to get the number 9 retired? Like, think about the quarterbacks.
Statue.
Think about and that's great. He deserves the statue.
Wait, I would say Kelsey's definitely got to be one of them.
Kelsey, 100%, 100%, 200%. Kelsey should have probably been the first one I named too. But yeah, Ertz, that's a good one. Ertz. And Joe says Jenkins in with all those names, and it's like, how many numbers do you want to retire, right? It's like, you don't want to go overboard just because they won you your only Super Bowl.
Yeah.
However, I do think that you do want to knock off a few numbers. And that's where it gets dicey. Now, Jenkins, here's my biggest knock against Jenkins, is he just wasn't here long enough. Like, when you saw NFL sites, or like ESPN and national sites is what I mean. Not NFL, I misspoke. But national sites like ESPN, and the NFL, they posted his picture as a Saint. And hey, he's won a Super Bowl there. He won a Super Bowl here. Probably he played more years as a Saint. I would say he played his best years as an Eagle. But I think that a player with this is again, I would not be offended if his number was retired. But I think that if people see him more as a Saint, then I think that guys like Ertz, Cox, Graham, those are the guys that 100%. It's a no doubt about it. With Jenkins, you do got to think, and I that's where I am on that.
I think if you were to tell me, go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, you go. Go ahead.
If I was going to only retire 3 from that team, Jenk's in that number.
Well, what was that? The last part?
If you're only retiring 3 from that group, just so we're not retiring everybody,
Mm-hmm.
I think Jenkins is still in that top 3.
Okay, that's fair. That's again, I'm not here to make the anti-Jenkins argument because I am a huge Malcolm Jenkins fan. I didn't want him to go. I think that signing Rodney McLeod over Malcolm Jenkins was a very bad and not talked about enough signing by Howie Roseman. But yeah, again, Ertz, Kelsey, Cox, like these guys, the difference between that, and it doesn't have to be 3. For the record, I'm not saying it's gotta be 3 or anything, but like the one thing about those guys is they were drafted, and they were like, say Ertz wins a Super Bowl with the Cardinals, he's still gonna be considered an Eagle when all things are said and done. And maybe Malcolm Jenkins is that too. You know what I mean? Maybe he says, "Hey, this is my home," and he becomes one of those players that just nests here, pun intended. But again, I would have no problem with him being. I think he was more than just the leader of that secondary. He was a leader on the team, and not only that, he had the talent to back it up. He was a Pro Bowler while he was here. So yeah, I'm a big Malcolm Jenkins fan.
So for me, without a doubt, he is a Hall of Famer. Like, it's hands down, he's going in. Like, that's happening.
I hope so.
He's got 2 Super Bowls. He's got plenty of Pro Bowls. And he's actually, this is just a weird stat. This doesn't actually go to the Hall of Fame type of thing. He's the only player in the NFL to ever beat Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in a Super Bowl. Beat both of them in Super Bowls, which is kind of crazy, kind of cool. But more to the extent of his talent and his durability, which will be a huge part of this. When he was an Eagle, he never missed a game, and he was on the field for like something crazy, like 95% or more of the snaps. Like, it was insane the amount that he played. And if you think about it, those years he was on the team, we were plagued with injuries, including the Super Bowl year. I think his presence was like Brandon Graham, where you just couldn't speak more about his leadership within the locker room and on the field. I feel like Malcolm Jenkins, when we go down to it, I think will be one of the greatest players to ever wear an Eagles uniform of all time, just because of his caliber of player. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, and I think earlier you brought it up, but I think Jenk is a lot closer to Doc than people want to give credit.
Yeah, you saw my face when he said that.
That's why,
I was like,
because that's how I see it, right?
I agree.
And it's
Whoa.
it's not like Dawkins is one of, if not my favorite defensive player of all time. And Malcolm Jenkins doesn't come close to that as far as fandom. But when I watched Jenkins on and off the field, it felt Dawkins-esque from moment
He was
one.
that caliber of
From
person.
moment one, you noticed, holy shit, the back end of our defense isn't poop anymore. And it just it started to solidify things. And for that Super Bowl year, him and McLeod were a very dynamic duo.
Yes, they were.
Although did McLeod go out before that season end? I forget. Was that the next year that he was out?
I just always assume he's out. So
yeah,
I think it was actually the end of next year, but now I want to check.
And let's not forget, and this is from Joe in chat, the big hit on Jenkins, or from Jenkins to Cooks in the Super Bowl that essentially ejected Cooks from the game. That was one of those, like, it was clean too.
I would say that's a top 3 hit in Eagles history. For me.
Yeah. That goes down with, that's like, I think of that where I think of Lito Shepard on like Reggie Bush.
Sheldon Brown.
Thank you. Sheldon Brown on Reggie Bush. Yeah.
And Dog on Algie Crumpler.
Yep.
Yeah, or Dog on name any NFC East wide receiver.
Hit on Crumpler is that thing. Man.
Particularly the Giants. Like, I remember many a hit on Toomer, because I just remember being really young and going, he's got the Toomer, like doing like the Arnold memes. But yeah, we can get into that for days. Dawkins on Crumpler at time.
Yeah, it was 2018 that he missed most of the season.
That's
it was
yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, and then the other thing that we have as far as the Eagles go, and I'm curious to see what everyone thinks about is Hollis Thomas on Vic. I do remember that. And that was Vic's last game as a Falcon. He played his next game as an Eagle, if I'm not, or was that a different injury? It might have been a different injury. But I do know that Mike Vick's last game as a member of the Falcons came against the Eagles. Right. I don't know why, but I just remember that weird bit of trivia. And speaking of Eagles past, hashtag looking for a segue. Kelly Green is going to be coming back, and I want to know what you guys think about that. And let's not bury the lead. The black helmet is going to be coming in with the all black jerseys now. What do you guys think about both of them?
I'm more excited for the black helmet, and that's going to be like sacrilege to some people, but. I grew up with Midnight Green, so I
had the Magic Fairy just deliver me some drinks. I'm so happy.
Shout out to Jay Ziggy, it's real. But no, I'm more excited about that. But I really do. The whole all black look that they're gonna be able to roll out, I think that is just so cool. And I really like those blackout games. So for me, that's the bigger thing, because like Kelly Green has that nostalgia feel for other people, but like not for me. Not that I don't like the Kelly Green. I like the Kelly Green. Just before anybody like takes my head off, I'm just more excited for the all black.
Yeah, I think I fall into the same camp, but I'm an all black type of guy. That's just my preference in any sport. I think they just such a clean look. But the idea that the NFL is loosen the grip on these jerseys at all, to me, is fantastic.
I do like the color rush in general, the throwbacks, things like that. Like, I really do like that they do that.
And Tampa already announced they're bringing back creamsicle, so like the whole league getting back into these kind of throwbacks for a few games here and there. I think it's phenomenal.
I think the creamsicle is so bad that it's good.
I mean, yeah.
I did not think. I'm even seeing it in chat. I did not think I'd be the only one that saw the black helmet and was like, ew. But and coming from, by the way, metalhead in high school. By the way, chat, was the one that wore all black every
True.
day. Most of my existence as a teen and early adult. I'm shocked that I'm the one that's like,
I'm surprised you don't like that.
I love the all black uniform.
Yeah.
I just thought the green looked great. It's like a little, like just a little, like. And look, here's the thing. I'm saying this now. Remember the black on white? Saw it on paper. Blah. Saw it in real life. Was like, It was like I was like the Drake meme. I was like, So I have a feeling that I may, turn over to this. Now, it's not like I'm like anti that, because I do. I think just like you guys said, and I even say it's like it's like a clean. It's very new school. Just like all black. It's the the Jay-Z song. Like I'm hip to it, youngins. But it's like I get it, and I'm okay with it. But I just personally I like the midnight green, and I think it looked good on the all black. But I'm for that. I'm not that I'm for that, but I'll get over it, and I'm sure I'll like it once I see it. But kind of like just to piggyback off the other one that you guys were talking about too. Yeah, I like midnight green. I think that's the primary color for the Eagles, right? And I love just the shade of color that it is. However, like I see we talking about Mike Vick in chat. I do remember that 2010 when they got to wear the 60s Kelly green, and just those like that. Like I remember Mike Vick having a huge I'll go back and watch highlights from that game, and man, those uniforms look really good. And as just to see something different, it'll be great. Like as I'm all for alternates. Like think about the Spectrum jerseys. Like I'm all for just having another version of the jersey or uniform, because with football it's only 17 or 18 now, however many games they're playing. But with the other sports, it's fun to see. Like in particular, baseball. Like the Phillies need 7 more jerseys. Just switch it up every day, once a week. But yeah, I don't know. That's it feels like enough Jersey and Eagles talk. We're about 20 minutes in. Any last thoughts on any of that? What do you guys? Are you guys in chat? Anybody excited for or against the Kelly Green? Or
I will say that I'm gonna buy a jersey in the Kelly green.
Absolutely. Yeah, there'll be someone.
I just gotta figure out who.
I'm probably just gonna get a Devontae Smith in every jersey.
I figured, and that's why I gotta go something different.
I already got midnight green covered, and I have a T-shirt hoodie jersey, which is a phenomenal item, by the way. So yeah.
My problem is I no longer have an active player on the team, so now I need a jersey.
Yeah, we can all rock Devontae Smiths. That's fine.
And for our next show, I'll have a
maybe not all 3 of us together.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why? Because you're gonna order one, or
it comes in on.
Okay,
in on
you have
Tuesday.
one. Okay, I didn't realize. I was trying to figure out that you're now I need to go buy one, or
no. I love them too, and this will be the second one I bought.
Yeah, just to wear around the house during the game. It's such a comfortable item, and then
the jersey.
Yeah, the hooded jersey. It's a
See, I've never worn a hoodie jersey.
Yeah, it's nice.
Never done it.
It's nice.
So this will be the second one I've ever bought.
I didn't even know that was an option.
And there's a theme to both of them, which you guys will get when you guys get to see it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I have a Phillies Harper in each color. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, well, and speaking of, we're going to be getting into some Phillies talk too. Just kind of transitioning over. Have you guys been keyed in on March Madness at all, or?
Yeah, because I might win my bracket for the first time.
I think I'm in a bracket with just me. I don't even know if you guys joined the War Room Philly one.
I joined, and I'm the only one who put a bracket in. So
wait, I'm not even in it.
One. You didn't put a bracket in.
I thought I put a bracket in.
It's literally just me by myself.
I'm
and
so
you have
confused.
0 points.
I filled a bracket out.
No, I might actually win a bracket. I did one with my old coworkers.
I did fill one out. I did pick Nova to win it as the homer pick, but also because I did like Nova's chances to make a Final Four run, and I figured if I'm going to go that far with them, why not? And here they are in the Final Four.
I picked Duke because I expect everyone to hate on Duke constantly, so I figured I'd be the only one.
Oh,
and I was.
Man, I want so bad for Villanova to beat Coach K in his last ever
His final
game.
game.
I will
want
win my bracket if that happens, so I'm down.
so bad for that. That's what I picked as well for the
I
one.
have Duke beating them, but if it's the two of them in the final, I automatically win.
Yeah, I have Nova beating Duke just because again I just went pure homer pick. I'm pretty sure that's what I picked at least.
I would
But
like
yeah,
that because
I,
then we could tell somebody at Poker Nights that they're
it's
wrong about their opinions.
either way. Either way, we're kind of like it's nice too because like all right, I hate North Carolina as well, but if Coach K loses to North Carolina in his last game, it's still like nah. But man, I would just love for Villanova, Jay Wright to just be like, here's your throne, buddy. That's mine now.
Joe, I hate North
I'm
Carolina,
also a
so that's
Duke
the only
guy,
reason
so-
I don't.
What did you say, Kev?
Like,
I'm a Duke guy.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine.
Joe apparently likes UNC over Duke.
Yeah, and it's fine. Look, I'm not gonna complain either way. I think, and here's the other thing, just purely, look, Kansas is gonna be a really tough game. I'm not even gonna act like the Nova's just let's look ahead. But if we are saying that we want the easiest matchup, I would probably say that North Carolina is slightly less talented, but what are they? I think they're an 8 seed. That 8 seed is not indicative to what they are. They started off really poor and now they are really hot.
Yeah, it's a high scoring team too, which will give Nova problems.
Yep. Yeah, Nova is, we all know they play the defensive style, although man, Colin Gillespie just shoots the lights out. And it's just impressive to watch him. And I sit. Here's what I do when I watch Colin Gillespie. I go, why is this guy not going to be a pro? And then I go, it's probably because he's too slow and he's too small. But man, he could just at the college level, he can just create a shot and just shoot the lights out from like anywhere on the court, which is very like. You don't see that on Nova all that much. Like they have guys that can shoot, but not in the way that he's doing it currently, and not for 5 years. You had Brunson, but he was here for 2, I think, as far as like at least when he was standout.
Scotty Reynolds is gonna be the last real shooter they had, right?
Yeah. I mean, DiVincenzo, but he was here for he was only at Nova for I think a year, maybe 2.
Might have been 2.
But it was like he got hot. He had that national championship run, and he just was like, I am going to the league and getting my payday, and props to him. And then he had that injury. Like, he was having a good pro career. He had that injury last year, so I don't know how he's been this year.
I haven't checked up on him.
I do know he's not in Milwaukee anymore.
Yeah.
Sports Walk has been talking about this is Jay Wright, the best Philly coach we've ever seen. I mean, it's a different like. Jay Wright is probably but it's almost like a different grading scale, in my opinion at least. But greatest, yeah, because like he's the only Philly coach to win not only
2 championships.
but like he's on a very limited list, and if he wins a third, but what are your guys' thoughts?
I think it's hard to compare coaches in different sports. But I also think that leaves out. I think that leaves out guys like Connie Mack and what they did when to develop the sport on top of what they did in Philly. Connie Mack, Brett Giro, Billy Cunningham. I mean, you're talking about guys who just were dominant in their sport. I mean, not that Jay's not. I had a conversation yesterday with Keith and a couple other guys that I believe Jay Wright's the best college coach, at least active, if not ever. I think what he's done with the program in Villanova is unbelievable. I just have a hard time comparing. I have a hard enough time comparing coaches in all pro sports, let alone when you add in college, because so much of what they do is recruiting and building the team in a different way. Whereas most of these coaches just get handed their players. They may have a say in it. Some actually do the picking, like Reed did, but I think you have a hard time. I think you're comparing apples and oranges when you start talking about the pro league versus the college game.
Yeah, it's tough to nail down one coach when you're going across leagues because longevity is different in different places. Um, I mean, yes, Jay Wright is probably one of the best that we have ever seen in this area. Um, because as Joe points out, like really, if he wins this year, he really is up there with the likes of Coach K and Roy Williams. The best or not NBA, excuse me, NCAA coach. In our lifetimes, um, and in the ever conversation like we were
Oh
talking
yeah,
about. Um, but it's tough to compare him to um, Andy Reid, who was dominant for as long as he was. I know we have mixed feelings about him for not winning one, but he really was a great coach the entire time he was here. We have obviously Charlie that we all love for his championship. It's interesting to try to compare, but I mean, if we're going to try, he's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. And we got from Russ in chat. Nova UNC was the Chris Jenkins buzzer beater. I want to say you're absolutely correct. I was just
yep,
talking about this the other day. The step back south. What was it? The step back shooter or whatever it was. I forget what they nicknamed that one. But yeah, Nova versus Coach K would be sweet too. I'm guessing Chris Archidiakono will have to play a lot more with the Moore injury. And yeah, I would. That might be. I don't know that Jay Wright's going to use him. I wouldn't mind seeing it because he in his small spots, mini arches has been putting it up. But I think that he's a pure freshman, and I just don't know that Jay Wright's going to go to a pure freshman in a Final Four game. Nova's got depth now. Again, losing Moore is going to be a blow. He
It's huge.
was, you know, the second. He was one of the top three players of that team.
yep.
So it's definitely a blow. Um, but not to sound cliche, if there's a program that can handle it at this point, it is Nova. It's gonna be. That's why teams like Nova, Kansas, Duke, like that's why they're here.
Right.
So they can handle things like this. But again, this is going to be a big one, and man, Kansas is really good. Like this might be something like one of the many stupid things that I say, but like this is the best team that Nova's going to face up until hopefully the next game. But obviously, it gets harder with every game, right? But this is Kansas is good.
I think the biggest concern I have for Nova is that they have played every game in this tournament using 6 guys and 6 guys only, um,
Yep.
and now it's 5. Um, so I think you need to be lights out shooting. Um, and the biggest problem I have is that Kansas's depth is the best part of this team.
Yeah.
I mean, they have really good players, but it's the fact that they are as deep as they are that I think is going to be. You have to get in a lead early and just hold on for the whole night. I mean, I think that's just the only way you're going to be able to pull that off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh, we got another. I just missed the last comment. Ooh, I missed the final one. Never mind. Okay. Each time Nova has beaten Kansas, they've won it all. Well, let's do
I like
it.
it.
So yeah. Any other Final Four? Any other thoughts? Or we can kind of switch gears. Any Sixers thoughts tonight, guys? Any?
Hopefully they win.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually
that's about it.
have been. I was watching the first half, and then the show started.
They're up 4.
But here's what I can do as far as getting the ball rolling with the Sixers. It's like it's been troubling. Like I know everyone just wants to like pile on the Doc, and hey, maybe rightfully so. I think this bench is putrid, and I think we need to keep that in the mix. Um, but as just speaking as a Sixers fan, like if I can just take everything like the I'm smart hat off for a second, I mean, just speaking as a Sixers fan, watching these fourth quarters in what seem to be important games, it's getting taxing.
Yep.
It's just it's really stressing me out. It's like, it's like it's almost to the point where you see it and you get the feeling of impending doom, and it's everyone the whole I love Joel Embiid. I still think he's the MVP, but he makes crucial turnovers at times, and it just feels like I thought when they got James Harden, they got a closer, and he doesn't feel like he's taken over a fourth quarter yet. And again,
Nope.
this is not the let's pile on James Harden show. I'm just again merely speaking as a Sixers fan, venting a little bit of frustration right now as the things that I'm seeing. I don't think the world is ending. However, I also don't feel like a championship is coming. Um, so it's like I'm in a bit of a feeling like I'm stuck in the mud a bit because again, when you got Harden, changed a lot of things. I just think that for this team, they shouldn't have been so much as worried about finding a backup center as they should have been finding a sixth man on the bench or a seventh man.
Yeah.
Because and also if you were going to make it your only point to get a backup center, maybe you could have gotten one that can play
Can
defense.
play basketball or basketball.
Or just the whole sport, in general. But hey, at least he can alley oop with James Harden.
I think my biggest issue with the team is they made these changes, and it's a drastically different lineup than we saw last April. But the fourth quarter still feels like we're playing the Hawks all over again.
Yeah, it just
feels like we've been stuck in this time loop of making it competitive, taking the lead into the fourth, and then letting it evaporate no matter who you play.
Well, it's Groundhog's Day again. That's how it feels watching the Sixers. Yeah, like you said, time loop. It's yeah.
I think that what we're again kind of on the time loop thing. Just watching this fourth quarter and James Harden not take over, even though we feel like he can. It feels a little bit like when Jimmy Butler was here. Just watching him, not do that. You try to fit in and then we saw in the playoffs he started to kind of do that. And take over and do what he did best and be that kind of closer that we needed. So I'm hoping maybe that's what we're seeing is that James Harden is laying back, but come do or die time, no, he's just gonna be like, all right, cool. Like, Joe, if you ain't doing it, I'm gonna do it. Like, let's go. Like, I feel like that's when we're gonna see it. Not that we want to wait that long. And yeah, I'm kind of tired of watching these fourth quarters as well. But we have tonight against the Pistons. We have two more
games.
Yep, we have 7 games total, and one more against the Pistons, 2 against the Pacers. And the other 3, as much as I've talked about how dangerous I feel about the Raptors are, all the teams, yes, they're bottom of the playoff bracket, but I feel like they're winnable games, very easily winnable games for the rest of the way, and you kind of need it to stay up there at the top of the bracket and maybe even be able to take that number 1 seed potentially if you could do something.
Yeah, and for the record, Embiid is still getting it done. Like this isn't like but it's
no.
At
I'm
some
not,
point, Embiid needs. Yeah, and I wasn't trying to say that you were saying that either, Keith. That's why I'm just trying to reiterate.
Yeah.
Like we're not saying that. We're just saying, by God, like we know Embiid dominates through the first 3 quarters and more. Someone else freaking help him. Like at some point, someone else on this team is allowed to catch fire. More than one person even. And it's like there's a few things that this season relies on. If you can get even close to playoff or not, excuse me, if you can get even close to All-Star Tobias Harris that you had last year, remember when he was really lobbying for his, and then even more when he post All-Star game, like when he played the Knicks against Julius Randle, like if we can get even a little bit of that motivation through a playoff stretch, if you can get a little bit of that, if you can get what you can get out of Maxey, and then if just Shake Milton or for anyone on the bench decides to step up, because Niang is going to do what Niang does. He's going to shoot every time he gets the ball behind the 3 line, and hopefully he makes 3.
Right.
But you need someone other than Niang that you can trust to have any sort of minutes off the bench. And right now, it's Niang and nothing. And really, you wish that Niang was the second choice on that.
Or third.
Well, yeah, ideally. So with that, it's you know you're gonna have to just figure something out to get this 6-7 man rotation set as you move into the playoffs. Um, but right now you got 7 games left, and Keith was talking about the opponents, and it's just at this point, how do you balance like getting fresh and making this team look playoff ready? Because right now
Yep.
they still have damning issues, in particular the fourth quarter.
I prioritize getting fresh.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. This team is so top heavy that it doesn't really matter what you do if Embiid and Harden aren't 100%.
It's true.
It means nothing. I mean, you're never going to get enough off of that bench that you're not going to get enough off this team, period, if either one of them's hurt. We've seen what both of them look like hurt. And while he'll get his numbers, Embiid hurts you in the fourth quarter because that was the whole Hawks series was, he's putting up numbers like he is tonight. And I'm not watching the game. I'm sure he's having a great game, and I'm sure they
31
should
over the fourth quarter.
right. They should be able to walk over the Pistons the rest of the way. Yeah, he's got 33 and 15. So I love Joel Embiid. It's not that. It's every time we've gotten to the playoffs, he does not last. And then the team falls apart because you've built this entire team around Joel Embiid dominating. Mm-hmm. So when that doesn't happen, you don't win. And, last year they had their scapegoat, and who's this year's? Because if you do the same thing again, you got to find someone to blame it on. And I'm sure it'll be Toby.
Oh, yeah.
But then they'll move him, and, we'll move on to another time. But at some point, the health of these guys matters. Arguably his greatest playoff run last year. Joe, I got to tell you, if that's his greatest playoff run, they're in trouble.
Yep.
Because he did nothing to win games. Down the stretch, it was Seth Curry who won them the games that they won. It was
true.
He had good first halves, and then he would fall apart with the same turnovers we're seeing now. So I think sitting here and saying that's what he is, like I said, I like the guy. I'm hoping he's going to be better. Right, and that's what I expect.
I wouldn't go as far as saying Embiid gave nothing last year. But the fourth quarters was when he was clearly gassed on a torn MCL.
Right.
So he was still putting up 25 to 30 points in that Hawks
absolutely
series.
Sure.
And clearly, like, we could all see that Doc needed to be going to Dwight Howard more early on in games to spell. But yeah, I think to say that Embiid did nothing is a bit much. But
if his greatest playoff run is him not getting out of the first round, he did nothing. They didn't get out of the first round. So
you're saying career-wise, yes.
That's what that's what I was addressing.
But yeah, he's still got plenty more to go. As far as that, if going to the second round of the playoffs is his best, then we're in trouble. But I tend to think that we're closer than that.
Sorry, I forgot
not this year. Not this year, maybe. But we'll see. I right now with 7 games left, it's gonna be where do you start, where do you sit players, and just pulling it up. The Hornets on Saturday. That's probably a game that, especially with Sunday against the Cavaliers, you're going to be seeing a bench game against the Hornets. And the thing about sitting your players, sitting your starters, in particular Harden and Embiid, if you're going to do that, it does give other people you can get maybe the Paul Reed minutes that everybody is dying to see.
Right, you get an idea of what the back of that bench looks like. You
can see Furk and Shake out there, and again, as much as I hate both of them, you really need at least one of them to be able to come off the bench and score some points.
Absolutely.
You even need, dare I say, to be able to run Shake, Maxey, and Harden on the court at some points, and to run 3 guards. And in the playoffs, you're going to have to do things a bit differently at times, especially with this shitty bench. So you know, it's just it's a little tough. And Joe, I think you're misconstruing what they're saying. Like
Yeah.
they're saying if Joel Embiid only gets out of the second round, like if him not getting out of the second round is all he does, then that's nothing. Not any of his specific. Because I even confused it at first. So I think that's what you're missing, because so was I. But yeah.
The problem I have with the team in general, and what I'm trying to get to is this: this entire team is built around this starting five dominating the other team's starting five.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if your best players, which is Joel and Harden, disappear in the fourth quarter like they've done recently, and like Joel did all of last playoffs, this team goes nowhere.
Yeah.
That's my point at the end of it. You can't build the team like this and then have these guys disappear.
Yeah,
It's a terrible way to build a team. You should have more help coming. But the whole concept is that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I have with this team. And that's why I'm concerned about whoever they play in the first two rounds. Because what we've seen of the last couple of weeks is concerning, because it's the same as last year. And whether that's a Doc problem or a roster problem or both, I'm all for any of those arguments. But it's the same problem as last year.
Yeah, no, we definitely need a little bit more depth on this team, and we definitely need to be fresh. We need to be fresh. We need to be healthy, and then we can make noise in this playoffs. I mean, the sky's the limit if we could figure out a few things. But I still feel really good about this team moving into the playoffs. Like, I want to make sure that anybody else who's watching understands that. Like, I think they can make a deep run with this team, despite the flaws, because in the playoffs, you're starting five play the majority of the minutes anyway. So if you can get that, make sure they're healthy, make sure they're fresh, as Kev said, as that was his most important thing for them, I think we can see a pretty damn good run out of this team.
Yeah, here's Joe just said, actually, point for point, the laziest Philadelphia sports fans points when it comes to Philadelphia Sixers. But I'm actually really tired of reading both of these. That his bench line. Actually, I'm not even going to read the one, because I'd honestly rather you drop an F-bomb and figure out another word other than the second one that you used there. Like you said flipping, and then you use that word, but I'd rather you say like
anything else.
effing and then come up with a new word past the other one, because I can't even read it on air. But the bench lineups thing, who's on the bench? How is that hit? Like, if you want to say, you need to be matching his minutes up with Giannis or the star, like, I get that. But when you just say his bench lineups, his bench is dog shit. Like, so like, how is that his fault? Now, again, I'm not taking everything off Doc. He's like, the way I would word it, because for reasons, is I would say, like the night against Milwaukee, and Joel Embiid said it as much. When he was off the court, Giannis put up like 17. Like, Embiid needs to be on the court. If Giannis is coming off the court, that's when Embiid comes off the court, or shortly after, and vice versa. And as far as like that, if that's a problem, yeah, I get it. But like, if you're mad that he does substitutions because basketball players can't play the whole game, it's not his fault that there's no bench. When after we made the trade, what was everyone complaining about? Oh, you gave up too much. It's not that they gave up too much. It's that they didn't have enough. And they didn't go out and get, when they could have got Gorgon Dragic, or they could have got a few other players here and there, or they could have made another trade afterwards, or second or third efforts. They said, no, we're really focused on getting a backup center. And that's what we're going to spend all of our time and effort on. And we're not going to worry about anything else, because we got something in the works. Because Daryl Morey went on 97.5 and literally said, quote, I have something big in the works. And that was DeAndre Jordan. So maybe we need to start be focused on Daryl Morey a little bit more, because if anything, he's built this team the last 2 years. When we were all screaming, you need to make a move, he got George Hill last year at the deadline. That's on him. That's not on Doc. Now let's give Doc what Doc deserves too. But just saying stupid, lazy things like lineups and Doc is the one blowing leads when he's not out there on the court dribbling. He's not the one doing it. So to say, like, it just comes out as lazy. However, DeAndre Jordan sucks. That is a brilliant comment in chat. I do agree with that.
It is. It is. No, so it'll be interesting to see things moving forward at this point.
I'm sure now again coming up to typical Philadelphia, I'm gonna scroll up and I bet it's B-Ball Paul. Thank you.
Yeah.
He at least said Paul Reed. Thank you,
Yep.
Joe. If you say Paul Reed, I'm much more willing to listen to you. I cannot stand the nickname B-Ball Paul for a G League player.
You know, I think we should have nickname talk, and my favorite nickname of all time is B-Ball Paul.
Oh my god, I hate you, Keith. I'm gonna just drop Keith from the call real quick. I have the power. No, but for real, like honestly,
I'm not saying it's the most accurate name, but I think
is it
it's cool.
catchy? Is it flair? Oh, it's swag. But I just, he also bricks. Like for all the things like that we want to talk about, and hey, I don't think he's got enough minutes or Bassie, but Paul Reed has bricked 3 slam dunks this year that I can remember of in 10 minutes of playing time, and the dude is 7'7" with
That's
like
true talent.
with jumps at so like let's not act like he's the greatest, but I agree we need like someone needs to be playing minutes other than because here's the thing, and with 7 games to play, you know what you're going to get out of DeAndre Jordan. So if anything, you don't know what you're going to get out of Paul Reed. So that again is my biggest pro Paul Reed argument. Exactly. How do you know when you don't use them? And again, he has used them. He does see them in practice. But at this point, you know what you got out of DeAndre Jordan. You know what you have out of Paul Millsap. You just know. So why not 7 games left? See, like, why not Saturday against the Hornets? Why not start Paul Reed? Why not? You know who's going to start? It'll probably be Paul Millsap. But why not start Paul Reed?
You know, he's got 0 minutes tonight.
Paul Reed?
Paul Reed.
Yeah. That's not surprising. And again,
Also Paul Millsap, though, to be fair.
That helps. It weirdly helps. But I bet you DeAndre Jordan's got all them backup center minutes, though.
All 10 of them.
Yeah. So, again, like, I do see that DeAndre Jordan has at least a little bit of offensive game in that he can catch alley-oops. But I think why not try to figure out what else you got as far as other players go, because I was stunned today that he made a block in the first half, and then I was like, oh, it was against a guard, and it looked like he used all of his might to make that block. So, yeah, DeAndre Jordan is, I would say a slight upgrade over a waste of space, but yeah, again, and this is why, like, I don't know if I'm defending Doc. Maybe I am. Call me out if you feel. But it's like, dude, why was Daryl Morey had a shit-eating grin on the Mike Missinelli show about DeAndre Jordan?
Yep.
And why is someone should roast him for that? Like, how is no one going, like, I don't know. Maybe I just want, like, the blood to be spread out amongst. But maybe I'm more morbid. The fact that I want more, like, I get when I see that Doc Rivers isn't perfect, right? But it's just like the same things that people are saying about Doc Rivers, they're saying about Brett Brown. And I'm like, it just sounds lazy. And it's like, at what point do we figure out the real problem instead of just being like lineups, rotations? Like,
I love that you reference spreading blood around, despite the fact that you cannot see blood.
Oh no, I faint. Yeah, no. So yeah, I don't know. That's just my talk there with that as far like tonight. I don't know. Anything else as far as Sixers go? Anything else we want to talk about? Because spring training is on. We can start talking about Phillies baseball.
I was gonna say absolutely not. It is far too long into this show for me because I've been bursting to get to the Phillies.
Yeah, I wanted to be at this point in the show much earlier. Not that.
Yeah, I know.
Not that I'm like.
I'm not complaining.
It's been
I'm not complaining at all.
Chat has been electric. I love seeing you guys out there. So yeah. Now's the time where I get the pen and paper out.
Yeah. Since the last time we've been on, as you referenced earlier,
it's that time of the year.
We have an addition to the team, and that is one Nick Castellanos, I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled that we went over the luxury tax and got him, because my God, does this lineup look way better with him in it?
Yeah, it's Castellanos, Schwarber, um, the reliever they just got the other day, whose name just escaped my mind.
Yeah, just traded for him. Yeah,
we were talking
Norwood.
about in our with Greg in that chat. Um, yeah, it's just look. They went out at the beginning of this off season and they just looked for whatever relievers they could again, like they did last year. And then it was like, oh, let's make a splash, and they got Schwarber, and then they were just like, yeah, you know what? Let's make another splash.
Right.
And yeah, I'm excited for baseball for the first time in quite some time. And
yeah, I mean,
boys, Noah Dubel Herrera in the opening day lineup. That's a huge win.
Hold on, we didn't get there yet. We're so close though.
It's a huge win.
I keep looking at it and I'm like, they haven't mentioned the double. Good, but like they haven't mentioned.
he's out.
He's going to be out for like 4, yeah. So he's at least out, for opening day. You're excited about Moniak. That is not something I thought I would read in chat today.
Yeah, well, listen, because Moniak's actually been on a tear in spring training. Like, it's a measured excitement on my end.
They traded one of the guys. So we didn't have much to get too excited about Ant for a while. So we hooked on to these guys, the Bohms, the
Adam Hazley was traded recently, right? Is that
Hazley's the guy who kills. I loved Hazley. That was the one I really liked, but I get it. I understood. Made me sad still, but
listen,
they had 37 outfielders, so somebody had to go. I don't know why it could have been Herrera, but
because nobody else wants them. Well, that's why we didn't need to sign them. But
Yeah, that was Hazley stunk. I kind of agree. He was absent more than anything too.
I hope his head's on right now.
And
I mean,
our center fielder situation's still gonna be a thing. And quite frankly, I could see us complaining about that early and often.
Absolutely.
And if that's our only complaint, we're still sitting pretty though. Because if that's like real, if that is our own, like if we're not talking about Aaron Nola, if we're not talking about starting pitchers going down like flies or anything like that,
right?
If the center field problem is our biggest problem, we're in for a good season. Like I'll sign up for that right now. If it would just mark my signature. Like if I got a frog in my throat.
There you go.
Yeah. But if I just saw, now I see, I know it was autocorrect.
Oh, it's great.
Scott Token. I just really just like making me think of like South Park a little bit. I don't know that Bryson Stott is the next Scott Rowland, but I'm down. Like if he is, I would totally take it.
No, I think Stott, I mean, he's looked great this spring training, and he knows how to play third. Like, I honestly think that he could take that spot from Bohm, because Bohm has been atrocious this spring training, and he looked awful at the end of last year. So it's tough. I mean, he had great promise, but it's been down since then. They're penciling him in for starting lineup, beginning of the year, and he may not make it. I'm looking at this, and I guess kind of getting into the lineup, when you have the likes of who you have, that, 8 and 9 spot, you start going, all right, well, are we really going to put Bohm out there? Or are we going to start getting Stott some real game time experience? And he's looked like he belongs. So I that's just my opinion.
I think Stott starts up with the big club, but I think it'll be in a platoon role. I think Bohm gets the start on third base.
Yeah,
I mean, I can see that happening.
Here, my thoughts on Bohm is like, how does nobody in the Phillies or Alec Bohm camp go, hey Holmes, hit the weight room? Like, you need some power. It's like you have everything. Well, you can't field, but like if he could just get some power into that swing, he'd be just fine. But for the position and your size and what you do, hitting 286 is just not going to cut it. Like
No.
you need to be hitting 286 and 35 to 40 dingers,
Right.
or at least 30. And it's just like, uh, yeah, I don't know, man. But
I think Stott overtakes him before the year's out, but I think Bohm will start.
yeah.
Stott's definitely going to overtake it.
Yeah, I mean, just going by how the Phillies do things, I would say, yeah, like Stott maybe has the chance, but I would lean towards Bohm probably making the team. Again, this is just purely off of what I've seen the Phillies do. This isn't like what should be. This isn't my opinion. That's just what I think.
I think they're hopeful for their future is that they're going to be able to move on from one of the middle infielders and throw Stott or, the move Stott around. So at that point, they're banking on Bohm figuring it out so that they can use both of them. But we'll see. I'm not sure. I think a whole lot of it's still possible. There's 162 games. I don't think it really matters who the opening day lineup is in the long run. But as of right now, I'd expect Bohm and Vierling to be batting 8 and 9 to start the opener.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Maybe Didi will get some time down there. But yeah. Opening day wise, yeah, I would say that. Who do you guys like? Who would be your leadoff hitter in this team?
I think it's Schwarber, no question.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and I'm probably going to get crap for this, but I really like Segura as my leadoff hitter. I know that's not ideal.
Who are you batting down at 6?
I like Segura as a 2-hitter, personally. I think that's where he gets his best at-bats.
Yeah, but I want JT at 2.
All right, I think you have 5 great hitters. I think you have guys who have 5, can be 5 consistently great hitters. And then I think you have 4 guys who were made for the bottom of the order.
Yeah.
So for me, I have a hard time putting Gene in the top 6 because that means that Reese or Castellanos is batting 6, which is not where they should be.
No, I know. And really, I mean, at that point, then you go with Segura at 6, and then, Didi and
Vierling. And
whoever at the Stott,
right, Moniak and Stott when they take it over.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I mean, it would really go Schwarber, JT, Bryce, Reese, Castellanos, Segura, Didi, and then it would be like Bohm or Stott, and then Vierling or Moniak, depending on who's in center field.
I have the same thing except I'm flipping Castellanos and Reese.
I debated that. Yeah. I debated that heavily.
I think letting Reese sit in a 5-hole lets him relax.
It does.
Lets him be the guy that he's been on and off more consistently. They put a lot on a guy who's just not a 4-hole hitter at the end of the day.
I just wrote down 6 names.
Okay.
And I wrote down Bryce, Gene, Kyle, Nick, JT, Reese.
I love Bryce in the leadoff spot. I do.
Although I'm not looking at righty lefty. That's just I just literally just looked at it and I just wrote one down.
So Schwarber, Realmuto, Harper, Castellanos gives you lefty righty, lefty righty.
Yeah, so it'll be lefty. Gene is righty. Yeah, Kyle is lefty, right?
Yep.
And then Castellanos is righty, right?
Castellanos is righty.
Yeah, and then JT would be right after JT and Reese, right? They're both righties. Some balance. I can work that.
I hate taking listen, I can't listen to another year of Bryce Harper only hits solo home runs. I want him batting in the middle of this lineup.
That's fair. And look, this is just a lineup I wrote down.
I love it. His on base percentage is so high, and There's so many good reasons to have him in the leadoff spot. Um, I can't do it. I can't do it again and listen to people complain about solo home runs like that's the fault of the person who hits the home run,
Hmm.
as opposed to people who can't get on.
And
I would have Harper in the 3.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I like him anywhere. I need. Here's what I need. I need Bryce Harper batting in the first inning that my team takes the plate.
Absolutely.
As long as he's 1, 2, 3, I'm fine with that. Um, Here's what I don't want. I don't want Reese in the 2 hole, and it's
Uh,
not to fault Reese Hoskins. It's not. It to me, it's to the fault of the manager. I know that analytics says this, that, and the third, but when Reese Hoskins is in the 2 hole hitter, he tries to hit like a 2 hole hitter and not like Reese Hoskins. And I
right.
need Reese Hoskins at the plate thinking Reese Hoskins. I don't need Reese Hoskins thinking 2 hole hitter. I don't need Reese Hoskins to just be a magnet to go to first base and then just to stay
Yep.
there.
To
I
to
want,
me, it's remarkable that he doesn't do that when the world's worst leadoff hitter is still in the building.
yeah.
Like I love Jimmy, but he's the world's worst leadoff hitter when it comes to leadoff hitters. He got on, but usually he hit home runs, solo shots because that was what he wanted to do.
Nothing wrong
He
with
hit
starting the
like
game
Jimmy
off 0
Rollins.
0.
He wanted to play Jimmy Rollins baseball no matter where you put him.
Yep.
And that was awesome. I have no issues with it. It was just, I think for me growing up with Jimmy, it took me a long time to realize that that's not what leadoff hitters are supposed to
Yeah,
be.
it's really not.
So, but that's what it's the same concept though. If you're going to back Reese in the 2, that's fine. But I want Reese to be trying to do what Reese does, not try to do what 2 hole hitters do on average.
And Joe, I just saw your comment, so I'm fairly certain that we've answered that already. But yeah, just in case I didn't, or if you missed it, I think all three of I want Harper one,
Yes,
two, or
all of us
three.
do.
Um, 4 is too
I want him
far in the
3.
lineup. 4 is too far in the lineup down for Harper.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I kind of have to. The Sixers, with 6 minutes left, were up by 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the bench had
Yep.
given up the lead, or not given up the lead, but had cut it down to just 1. So they brought the starters onto the floor with 6 minutes left, up 1. They're now down 11. That is my concern with this team.
Yeah.
I get that they were up 5 and they were up 6, and they should have still been up 6 when the bench came off. But you were up 1 against the goddamn Pistons, and you're now down 11.
Yeah, the fourth quarters are really starting to become a problem for this team.
And we can blame it on the bench. We can blame it on these guys who don't play that much. But I'm in the middle of the show. I have the TV on behind you guys. 4 of the turnovers have come from Harden, Maxey, and 2 from Joel. So this is my problem when we say you're going to cut it short and you're going to play 6 or 7 guys come playoff time. When the 5 can't figure it out against the Pistons, I'm worried.
And by the way, that's been a knock against the Sixers in the Embiid era, period. Brett Brown era, I should
Correct.
say. The turnovers were always an issue, and it's just continued on.
Yep.
But
Sorry,
we digress.
baseball. We'll have more fun.
Baseball, yeah. Yeah, so it's just going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to see this team. It's going to be exciting to see how many home runs everyone hits, because right now there's people penciling, 4 players on the team to hit over 30 home runs and another one to hit over 20. So, I love it. The excitement is starting to take over my body, and I can't figure out like words, because that's just how happy I am to have like relevant Phillies pre-season. I don't know how they're going to be during the season,
Right.
but at least prior to the season, I go, cool. I can watch this team.
Does the defense in the outfield worry you guys as much as it's being talked about?
Well, after I saw that double play today, no.
Well, that wasn't the outfield. That was the infield. I knew those guys could play the field.
Yeah.
What concerns me more is the pitching. To me, pitching equates to defense. I realize that's not the case, and fielders still have to field.
Right.
I think this might sound oversimplified. I think if you get good enough pitching, this lineup will hide the offensive or the defensive inefficiencies. I think that, especially the fact that it's your outfield. Sure, you might not get, you might not be throwing out, you might not be getting like a ton of outfield assists unless you're Bryce Harper. But
Actually, I think that's the thing they're going to do fine with because all three of them have arms.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, so that was probably a bad because Bryce. But so it's just like you might not be cutting down. You might be giving up a little more doubles in the gap, right? But it's as long as they're not like dropping fly balls. Like I think that's what people are like getting in their head. That it's gonna be like I got it, and the ball flies behind them. That might happen when the Double Herrera out there. But major leaguers are gonna do what major leaguers do. So yeah, I think center field. I think the fact that when a Double Herrera is out there, it's gonna be a nightmare. Because your center fielder needs to be your anchor, and he is not.
Yeah.
Especially defensively. But it's. I don't think that. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, our pitching, or more specifically, our relieving pitching, is still going to be a much bigger problem than our fielding.
Right. Sir Anthony has looked good so far in spring training. By the way, he is starting to come back into at least health. Yeah. So
guys like that, it's like. I'll get let me see that in September.
Do it, right?
You know what I mean? Like it's just like I
do it in May.
Yeah, I gotta, and even if and when he's doing it in May, I'll be like, let me see it in June. Let me see it in July. Like
right? No, and I'm fine with that. I just want to see it in season.
Prove it. Give me because here's the thing with prospects is you hear talk, especially with. With like in particular, and I'm not trying to throw shade with the Phillies and the Flyers.
I'm a Flyers fan. Who are you talking to?
Like it's you just hear, oh, this is gonna be this is gonna be this, but you don't really see it, right? Because not all of us are sitting there tuned in on Reading Phillies or Phantom Lehigh Valley Phantoms hockey. Like although like Kevin, I know you kind of are, and I'm sure like if Greg was here, he'd be like, hey, I do that for the Phillies. like so I know some people are, you guys, but like the casual is not. So what we do is we just go off of talk. So when you hear things like, oh, these guys are gonna be this is gonna be that, you just have to believe it. So with guys like Sir Anthony Dominguez, when it's talk, I'm like, okay, now I've heard the talk, but I need to see it. And now he's got to fight through injuries, and he's got all these roadblocks, and I just need to see it.
Yep.
But man, it would be great, Keith. It would really.
I love the way he throws the ball. So I'm hoping he's back.
Look, we were talking about it in the chat. You guys know when it comes to relievers, I am a sucker for the flamethrower.
Yep.
And if Joe, I would love for that to be something we're talking about. Like if Sir Anthony Dominguez is in the like if in July we're talking about him being a capable bullpen arm, like that would be fantastic.
My concern with that is, and I like Dominguez enough where that I'm okay with him taking that spot. My concern is 3 or 4 of the guys they brought in are former closers. So if they lost the job to him, we're going through the same bullpen problems we've been going through for the last 3 or 4 years.
I mean, I would love if somebody else was the closer and then he is the setup guy, a la Mad Dog Madsen.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Yes to what you just said, Keith. Yes to what Joe just said. I don't know that my biggest concern is Aaron Nola, but if this season is going to be a success, Aaron Nola is going to have to pitch like Aaron Nola. He doesn't have to be, like the Cy Young that he was 2-3 years ago now. But Aaron Nola needs to be Aaron Nola and not whatever we've seen the last season or two plus. So yeah, I just need to see Nola come in and be just a good number 2. Like he's got to be like he doesn't need to be a number. He's got to be a little bit better than a number 2, but he doesn't have to be an ace. Like I know that's like a fine line, but
no, but it makes sense. I mean, he kind of makes or breaks this rotation at the given moment because you don't have much. So you need him to be at least a number 2 on this team.
I like Ranger Suarez in the 3-hole this year. I'm weirdly more confident in Ranger in the 3-hole which is a much easier position to pitch out of than Nola in the 2 hole. Although he'll be your one
Because
off the tip because
Yeah.
Wheeler was not going to be starting opening day.
yeah, and that's out there, but whatever. I mean, you have I like Ranger, I do. And really that leaves Gibson and Eflin to be your 4 and 5 at that point. And I know that we have our ups and downs. Eflin does go up and down. But I actually don't mind that 4 and 5. I'm not saying it's hugely dominant, but like 2008 Phillies were set with a Cole Hamels who was spectacular. And then you had a solid guy in Jamie Moore. You added Joe Blanton later in the year. And obviously, Brett Myers was out there. But you had some guys at the back end of your rotation that were just capable arms. Kyle Kendrick, who just was a capable arm. He wasn't fantastic. Like that's all you need. As long as you have a very good 1, 2, 3, and like okay 4 and 5, you can win if you have bats like we have. That's what you're looking for. Am I
Yeah,
saying the winning series? No, by the way, no.
I'm less worried about Nola than I think you guys are.
I'm
I
not
think
worried. I mean, there's some
I am.
caution I have.
I am. I don't know that I'm as worried as Joe, but I am. Like I said, I don't. My biggest concern of the season is still the bullpen. Second would probably be center field. Third, Nola.
yeah,
Probably.
I don't know. I think when I watched him pitch last year, 2 years ago I might have been a little worried. Um, I think his numbers ended up being worse at the end of last year. It's that's fine. His ERA was through the roof compared to what it had been, but I think more so than anyone was affected big time by the bad defense last year. Um, Guys misplaying balls that are called hits that should absolutely have been errors. Stuff like that. I'm not. I don't know. I think for me, I want to see what he brings. I'm not huge on advanced stats. I think baseball provides enough regular stats to go into advanced stats.
Yeah.
But I think something like his expected ERA was a full 1.5 points below what his actual ERA was, which just speaks to bad defense. Um,
Yeah, he
but
definitely was a victim of that, as all of our pitchers were.
well, except Wheeler, who had great stuff, who can overcome that, and that's
Yes.
kind of where I need Nola to be back to. But that's I'm not totally worried about the defense. I think it's been so overblown as far as how bad the outfield might be. Um, that's kind of the one spot I am worried about. I feel like Nola and Eflin especially were both hit pretty hard about with that over the last couple of years. So that's where it becomes a concern for me. But I think if Nola can get back to that 2018 guy, it doesn't matter. His hard hit balls will come down, and so will everything else.
Yeah, I'm just writing other lineups. I love baseball season. I'm listening to you, and I'm just sitting here writing Kyle, Gene, Bryce, and then I'm like, Reese. Do I want to? Do I go like a Reese heavy like lineup? Like I could go again. Reese in the 4 hole, I love. Reese in the 2 hole, I don't.
Right.
I just Reese in the 3 hole, I get behind. I need
yeah,
him anywhere from 3, preferably 4 down.
I think I'm at 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think you get the most out of Hoskins 4 through 6. And I think I'm okay with putting JT maybe even down because like I want balance in the lineup too, which is why I know I'm being hard headed and I keep putting Gene up there. But I think you get the best out of Segura when he's at the 2 hole. I'm even okay. Like I think Keith, you mentioned it at the top. I think your first lineup suggestion had Segura at the leadoff, right? Like I'm okay with that
Correct.
because if you go like we were talking, the traditional leadoff hitter doesn't exist, and like it's funny because nowadays Jimmy Rollins is like every leadoff hitter would strive to be Jimmy
Could be
Rollins
Jimmy.
now in today's meta of the MLB.
Right.
But like Kyle Schwarber, could you imagine him being a leadoff hitter in any other time other than now?
No.
But but like, as far as prototypical like leadoff hitters go, Gene Segura is probably it, or Didi, not at 47 like he is. So that, or is it one of your young guys that you don't know about yet? Which by all means, guys, hop up to the front of the lineup if you can make it there.
Yep.
Like if a Bryson Stott were all of a sudden your leadoff hitter by the end of and it would be a good thing, like the whole lineup still is firing. It's not out of like bad things happening. Why not?
Yep.
Yeah. Or if you sprout a center fielder like out of the ground all of a sudden, why not? But yeah, I think that honestly, that's what they just need, like me, but more athletic and younger. But just to just be playing center field and making money.
I
when I start suggesting things like I should be
I
playing
have
center
some-
field for the Phillies,
It's spring training, exactly. Yeah.
what were you gonna say, Keith?
I said I got some Phillies nonsense for you,
Let's
since
get
we're
it.
kind of
Love
getting
it.
towards
Let's
that
get
time.
I just closed the notebook.
So I'm looking at the Phillies promos for the year, right?
Oh boy.
Because what they're giving away on certain games. Unfortunately, opening day is the one I would want to go to, obviously, because you guys know me and I wear headbands, and they're giving away a fleece headband with the Liberty Bell on it.
Nice.
I have tickets, I might do it. But this one, I know all three of us will enjoy. Wednesday, May 4th, Star Wars night.
Yep.
I mean, as soon as you said, what's funny, Keith? Before you said the date, I was gonna say Star Wars, but then you said May 4th, and I was like, Star Wars, okay. Going next Friday,
So,
Joe? Nice.
So and I wish I could share, I'll share the link I'm on, because you can scroll down to it so you can see it. Anybody else can just look it up. That's fine. They're giving away a beanie.
Really?
And it's a Boba Fett one.
Where did you drop the link, Keith?
I'm about to drop it into
Oh.
Facebook chat.
Oh, God. I don't have Facebook open. That's why I was like, okay.
All right, hold on a second.
No, you can drop it to me, and
yeah.
I can show chat. So
I'm just gonna do it in our little our Google chat.
Oh, jeez.
Here we go.
Oh, jeez.
There, try it. I know I'm calling an audible like you do all the time.
Okay.
So it's there, so you can show them, but it is a baller beanie, and I want it because it's Phillies and Boba Fett on it. Yes.
Yep.
For nurses out there, they got a Scrubs night, so you can get a Scrubs top on May 5th in case you want to go and do that. Mother's Day purse, But I'm looking at it, and I'm a sucker for bobbleheads. June 10th, they
my
got
mom actually sent me a picture of that hoodie or the beanie. I mean, now I'm not a big fan of the foofy thing. At the top,
I know. Neither am I. But
it's a solid item. It's a solid item, and I must say, I'm not finished yet. I think I got one more episode or two more episodes. I forget how many episodes is Book of Boba Fett.
I guess 8.
I haven't seen it.
I think I got 2 left then. All they had to do was not make it about Boba Fett for it to get interesting. All they had to do was turn it into The Mandalorian, and I was like, oh crap, I like this show all of a sudden. Also, I can't stand the director of the first 3 episodes. He's the only person that makes me not like Quentin Tarantino work. I forget, Rodriguez something. Robert Rodriguez. Yeah, the dude that they did the Grindhouse movies and stuff together.
Yep.
So dumb. I digress.
If you want to try to get,
if you're
Jamie,
into that kind of thing,
Jamie to look like.
I do like that. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, if you want to get Jamie to try to look like she's under 14, she can get herself a Zach Wheeler jersey on Sunday, July 24th.
The views of Keith
does
Malczewski do not.
Oh man.
Yeah. The Pride hoodie's actually pretty sick. I like the like RGB.
Yeah, it actually is.
Like inside the hoodie.
I would say
that's a t-shirt hoodie, dude. The t-shirt hoodie
go.
is in.
The shoody.
All you have to do, Bill Belichick is a fashion icon.
So, and here's 2 things. Here's 2 other dates that obviously they have the 1st and 3rd day of the July fireworks. But here's the other ones that I like. They have 2 post-game concerts. They got one on June 11th. It's going to be the Avett Brothers, and I love it. I'm down for that. Like that's when I'm going to go. And then Friday, August 19th, they got the I Love the 90s post-game concert featuring Vanilla Ice, Tone Lock, Rob Bass, and DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm down.
What is going on?
Do you remember? Because I remember.
It is ridiculous, and I am down to see all of the parents in the world, just a little bit older than us, just like down and doing that.
Yep.
Kids looking at them like,
first
what
off,
happened?
Why kids don't need an arm sleeve? Old men need arm sleeves. Why do the kids get the arm sleeve?
That. I think that's garbage.
Like, why do the kids get? What's with this JT room? I'll pull you back up so you can see what I'm complaining about. What are kids?
Yeah, there's some good stuff on there though.
I got the frog back. What do
why do the kids get that?
This is clearly for taking beers onto the golf course. The JT Real Muto cooler. Why? What is this 14 and under? Why is that? So I'm a little mad. But okay.
I'm legitimately going to bring my nieces and nephews to the game so I can have.
It's always get the better giveaways. It's so stupid. Joe, I love you. Goddamn kids get everything.
What does he get on the easy one?
Hip hop anonymous. Damn you! You gave me one of the easy ones. Sonny, I'd like to help you, but my status
Sunday,
in this
August
country is how you
sounds
would
like
say
I'm bringing my niece and nephew so I can get 2 coolers and leave.
All right. Well, I just want to do Rob Schneider quotes from Big Daddy now. So I deliver food for 6 years.
All right. So now that we've not just driven slightly, but actually careened down into nonsense.
Hey, I know you. I think it's time for final thought. Piece of cheesecake. All right, yeah. That's anything else, guys?
I'm gonna answer Joe's question with my final thought. Man, my water moved. Apparently, it slid farther for me than I was ready for. This will be the little bit of Flyers I do. I don't know that they could have done better. So, when you sign a franchise legend to a no movement clause, you deal with what you get. Got a 1st-round pick. Yeah, it's 2 years away, but I don't think they have any intentions of using that pick. I think they plan to trade it. On tip, it's a nice piece. It's not who I would have wanted out of that organization. I think you got to go after a guy like Mackey, who has some first-line upside. And the other picks and players don't matter. Bonham and Rupes. I mean, guys just weren't going to be a part of the future of this team. You got something. And I think more importantly, what you've gotten out of it, if you've watched any, I know it's tough. They're tough to watch right now. But if you watched anything of it since then, what Farabee and Konechny have done to absolutely scream out to let that organization know that they're ready to take control of this team going forward is much more important than anything they got in the trade. I know G talked about Joel wearing the C going forward. I don't think he'll be the next one, but I think he's made it very abundantly clear that he's ready for it in the future. I think they'll have a quick stop on Coots' chest before they give it to Farabee.
And that's a jersey I buy.
Yeah, I listen. I'm not sure I'm up for Coots as the captain. It's just not.
I don't think he really should be that. It's not
personality, but unfortunately, when the next best guy is 22 and 23, it's tough to throw it on their chest. But we'll see. I believe Coots starts off next season wearing the C, and they'll let 6 or 7 people wear A's because that's what they do nowadays. It'll be Atkinson and Hayes and Provorov if he's still here. And I think one of Konechny or Farabee will get one too. And they'll do some of you get it on the road, some at home nonsense. I think that's really all I can say about the G return. It was what I kind of expected based off of the restraints Fletcher was under.
Yeah, Kev, it was either you or it was Greg. It was in our group chat that we do, and it was like, uh, I think it was Greg. Now that I'm like remembering how it was written, it was uh, like, did Fletcher have no, leverage? No. Do I believe any other GM in the NHL would have gotten more? Yes. Like I felt like that was like a pretty good oversimplification
It
of
was
my
it,
thoughts.
it was
Um,
Greg. That was Greg's response, and I don't disagree. From day one, I've been anti Fletcher, so that should come as no shock to anybody. Um, with this one, I don't think he really. I can't get up in arms about it. My
yeah,
problem with Fletcher when it comes to this situation is the moves he made last season, especially the big oaf that he just re-signed,
yeah.
whose name I can't bring myself to say right now,
Mm-mm.
Andy
caused
McDonald.
um, caused this. You should have been in a better spot this year. You shouldn't have had to trade him at all. So that's where I'm at with it. I've also swung my pendulum all the way from I hope he's back at the beginning of next season to I don't want him back at all. Not because I don't want Gene as a Flyer. I want this team to move on. And a lot of that, like I said, stems from Farabee and TK kind of taking the bull by the horns, and I don't want to see them slide back into uh, secondary position on this team. It's
Yeah,
time to move on. It's time to rebuild, and I'm kind of all right with it.
I think it's time to get different. They gave it a bunch of different shots, right? And
Yep.
now, and that's my biggest problem with signing a contract like the Ristolainen deal. It's because you're clearly in a position where, if anything, you should have just traded him off for any assets because you need to retool. You not even retool. Like, you need to
Rebuild.
rebuild, and it should be this the next phase of this franchise should be kind of building around Carter Hart and all of these forwards that you have young, or that you have youth in, and what we hope is talent as well. Um, and at this point, you want to be taking that average age and getting it to like 25, and not 35 or whatever it is now. And it's like, um, they need to just kind of realize that they're probably out of it for a year or two, and start moving on any of the long and big contracts. Get room, or get cap space, get young, get healthy, and move on from there.
Yeah.
It's tough. Joe, that's actually, I don't know that that's like the worst thought, to shut down Hart for the rest of the year. I don't
I
know.
think they're going to.
Yeah, like,
I think they've already started to with the nagging injury. They had an emergency call up. The problem is that the Phantoms, who are not going to be competitive this year, have to finish their season, and then you get unlimited call ups. But until then, you only get 4. So it's kind of a weird position the Flyers are in, where everything they do has to be on an emergency basis right now, until they get to um, until the Phantoms are officially eliminated. It's just the way the CBA works. Um, yeah, and I think that's kind of it. That was the biggest problem I had with the trade deadline. And watching what they've done said that since then tells me that the reason that Martin Jones wasn't moved for a middle round draft pick is they had no intentions of having Hart finish the season. Um, they may not say it, but they're going for as high a draft pick as they can for the rest of this year, which is mind blowing. I've never seen the Flyers do this ever. They usually go on like a 10-game winning streak
Yeah.
at this point to make sure they pick 12, which there's still time. Um, yeah, it's kind of where it's at. Like I said, it's Joe. I was also down there for G's 1,000th game. It was rough. It was cool that they won. Glad I got to be there to do the standing out at the end of the game. But at the end of the day, I'm in the same spot. They shouldn't have been in this situation, and the fact that they are sucks.
yeah.
So
All right, boys. Any other final thoughts tonight, or anything else?
Frozen 4 is next Thursday.
Yeah, there we go.
A couple future Flyers, including the man that Joe just brought up, Bobby Brink, who might win the Hobie Baker. For those who don't know what Hobie Baker is, that's the Heisman of hockey.
But all right. Well, it's been a fun one, boys. It's been a fun one. Yeah, we'll be back next week at some point. Maybe even Saturday for a little. I might do a little Facebook hit for Nova pregame. So stay tuned. Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly. Might get a little if I have the free time, which I probably won't. I would like to get a little hype going for Nova. Yeah. With that, it's been a fun one. Did I say yeah? I meant Saturday. If I said not Saturday, I'm sorry.
I said not Saturday.
I'm not sure what you said. I thought you said Saturday, but maybe it's just,
I thought I
filled
said
it in
Saturday.
myself.
Maybe I said Sunday. Maybe I said flippity day. I don't know. Like my brain has been scrambled the last week, so it is what it is. But yeah. With that, it's been, and I said Sunday. I believe it. I believe it. I meant Saturday though. I promise you. I literally can, like, it's the only thing on my sports calendar right now is Villanova. I can't focus on anything else. I'm just
You ready for an Eagles game?
like I was thinking it's an Eagles game, maybe. Like, here's what I'll say. Like, I'm going, like, gearing up. I'm getting that, like, excited because it's a Final Four game, man. Like, it's exciting. The fact that they're there, it's historic. Like, Jay Wright deserves some props, and he's finally getting it. So
Yep.
it's very well deserved. You know, like I said, even if they, I do want to, I'm getting that taste in my mouth, like another parade might be near. But even if they don't, this was another just a historic feat and just a great run out of Villanova. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch that game Saturday. At what's it, 6:07? I think is the tip, something like that. It's right in the end. Nice. It's a good start time too. I like that when it's like not. Like I can do that at this stage. Like I don't need to like party. I'm just like, let's go. Get me right there in the middle of it. Yeah. There will be at some point. There'll be see, the thing about statues, you build them when people are like the Doug Peterson Nick Foles statue feels really awkward in that stadium, and it felt even more awkward the fact that it was like put there immediately after. Like something like that should be not in the stadium. Like statues are supposed to be for people who have like who are in the past, not in like last year past.
Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, I digress. I really we gotta wrap it up though. Guys, it has been a fun one. Last time I'm gonna say this to you too. Final thoughts? Anything else? We've been rattling. That's it. All right. Well, let's put a bow on it. With that, it has been a fun one. Make sure you guys follow us, War Room Philly everywhere. Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly, YouTube, the whole nine. With that, I'm Anthony Pinto.
And I'm Keith Malachewski.
And I'm Kevin Christian.
And we are out of here.